I measured from the transformer, the pole with the transformer on it.
It's out by the road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other discussion?
Just a comment for Ken, you're now live on YouTube.
Yep. Sorry.
All right. So are we prepared to make a motion then to accept the bid in front of us or vote on it for the first time or?
What does Ken feel about, you know, the manual gate?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only, you know, to me, it would seem like a lot of work for his staff, 7 days a week, twice a day, to go and unlock and relock this gate.
No, I don't know that we're talking about actually locking it, just like a pole system that goes in the ground to stop it from opening. Like you have to get out of your car, pull it up and open the gate yourself. Is that what?
Yeah, that's kind of
Well,
what I
that
was.
would be fine, but again, then we wouldn't necessarily need a staff person, one of Ken's people, to close it. Because basically what's gonna happen, the first person that's in there is gonna open the gate, it's gonna stay open, period.
Yeah.
That's the negative, you know.
Yeah, that was the one detractor about not having a closing, opening system or a motor-driven thing.
I guess that's the only thing I'd like to see. What would the added cost be for that motorized, something that, you know, you drive up, the gate opens, and as
Like on a
AJ
sensor?
explained, some kind of loop sensor on the ground, so when you drive back out, it opens again and recloses. You know, is that something you could find out, AJ,
Yeah.
what that would cost?
What about a keypad, and the members get the number for the keypad?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility, to put a keypad in. The only problem is if I make the number 5, 6, 7, 8, then there's no tracking, because you can tell anybody the number's 5, 6, 7, 8.
Sure.
And you can tell your contractor it's 5, 6, 7, 8, and they go dump insulation or building materials out there they're not supposed to be dumping. So that's the only, like I said, it escalates depending on how secure you want to make something.
And again, I would assume that if we had this mechanism that open and close the gate automatically, at a later time, additional hardware can be added to it, like a keypad. But I think the initial attempt to get a gate up there that automatically opens and closes with the camera, as Ken points out, I think that would be a deterrent.
You would need a concrete driveway if you wanted to open and close. Well, I guess you could put photo eyes out there. They would kind of sort of work.
What's photo eyes, just like
The,
sensors?
like the things at the bottom of your garage door, I mean like a commercial grade, one of those. You could have it shooting out basically at a, you could have it shooting out at an angle, so as you drive up to it, you cross across the photo beam, the gate would then
Gotcha.
slide open, and then vice versa, when you're coming back out this way, you cross the photo beam. I mean, if you're just doing it for that, just to kind of say, hey, we got some stuff going on out here, there's security, there's a camera, even though it's free and it's not automated, or there's,
And those could just be mounted to a poster as well, right?
and have a reflector on the other side, and you'd be good. I mean, you can put a keypad in for cheap too, I mean, cheap.
I mean, again, I think we're talking about something to get us started, and then we figure out how effective that is before we decide whether the cost is worth it to expand the system to something better.
But the whole point though is to get that vehicle to stop so that you can get,
Exactly.
so you can get a picture of the plate is really the whole point.
Yep.
Regardless of whether it's electric or it's manual, the whole point is for that to stop.
Yep.
To answer your question, Tom, about the cost of an opener, about $1,180 is that's one I found an industrial one online. That we'd have a gate up and Ken and Chris would go out there on Sunday and put it in, install it.
We can do that. Some of the stuff I seen her do, we could do that.
And everything's chain drive, just like the industrial ones are, and then you could just add your activations with sensors like AJ's talking about, keypad, a card reader down the road, that kind of thing.
Yeah, can you get the URL of the webpage, so
Yeah.
we can take a look at
I
it?
can do that.
Yeah, so let's get that price. Before we take any motion now, let's come back one more time with numbers for that, and then we can make a motion to
Give me
say
a little
exactly
more
what
time
kind of
to
package.
Get that together too.
Yeah, by the next board meeting,
Yeah.
can you do that? You got a month then?
Yeah. Yeah, I can get.
Because then, I mean, once we have that, I think we can pull the trigger and get something up and running and,
Yeah, my sales guy was in Kentucky for like 2 weeks, so I didn't, he was busy writing big quotes. So I was like, I don't bother him when he's writing like $1 million quotes. I'm like, yeah, I'll get with you soon about my $1,000.
you can bring, I was gonna say, you can bring the small potatoes order too,
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure
can.
you're busy.
Yeah.
Okay. Ken, you good with all that?
Yeah.
No questions? All right, okay. Next order of business, replacement of boat tie-up poles. Ken?
This is what I presented to you guys, during the ops meeting. Should be finishing up on our, replacing all the decks, the tie-up decks for, the 3 locations of Jefferson Valley, Lincoln Park, and the Marina. One of the things that we've noticed, and we've had, some complaints about is parking, being able to park their boats and some of the pipes getting bent. We've got about a 2-inch galvanized pipe that is set in there now that gets hit and bent, and it makes it difficult for people to park. As I stated, that all 3 locations have got needed repair. It's a total of 55 pipe. What I'm proposing is just sinking them with the 4-inch steel pipe that we use to set the docks with, something that'll be there for years. Shannon says that if he needs to set it from the barge for labor and the pipe, to set 55 of them is $300 per pipe at $16,500. If he can set them from the shore with a little bit of our help, it's at $225 a pipe for $12,375. The budget line that we have for building and ground repair is $50,000. We've got $9,000 committed for the addition to the maintenance building. We're gonna have a little bit of money for mulch and some banner for the new playground equipment. Then we also have contract services of $46,500 line. So, that could be divvied up for Shannon's labor to go onto the contract services, and the pipe going to the building grounds, either way. We have a total of 52 spots that pay for a tie-up service for these spots that generate $16,900 per year. So this year would pay for all the pipe replacement, but all in all, they're just, I sent you all pictures during the ops meeting and how bent up they look. My thought is that a lot of the people around here spend a lot of money on their docks and make them look nice, and what we offer for people to tie up, or the appearance of them doesn't look very nice. They're all bent up and leaning forward, and I think AJ can probably contest to one, because he pays for a parking one. We've had somebody that didn't get to utilize theirs last year because it kept getting, his neighbor kept bumping them and it bent it over in front of his spot. So Shannon, says he can sink these about 5 feet down, and like I said, the 4-inch steel pipe will be there forever. So so that's what I'm presenting to purchase for these pipe to replace before spring sets in, before the boats start parking their boats in their spot.
What is the factor in determining whether he can drive it from shore?
The ground being froze.
Okay.
He wanted me to, he's got an extended boom that, he can reach from the shore. He wanted to know the measurement from the rock out to the pole. I gave him that measurement. He says that he could drive it from the ground if it's frozen enough to where he's not gonna tear up the property.
Yeah, especially at Lincoln Park where there's a lot of grass. There's not really a lot of
Right,
access point. There's nothing to drive on to get to those boat slips. So even when people are just trying to get to their boats, they'll take their cars through there. I've seen people go in there when the ground is soft and mushy and they're rutting it up and it's all muddy, and maybe some point in the future we want to even consider putting a gravel drive through there just to,
At the Jefferson?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, not at Jefferson, at Lincoln Park,
Oh, Lincoln Park.
yeah.
Where the donuts are at.
Where the donuts are. Yeah, exactly, yeah. It happens a lot.
On a lower scale, I've talked to Shannon about, today about fixing that problem at the Jefferson tie-up, because it's, like I said, we've built a 20 by 20 deck that we're gonna have a couple picnic tables on, and what I'd like to do is have a driveway go back to that and have a parking lot out front where they can actually park, because right now it's just all
Grass,
grass and
yeah,
they, it
yeah.
kinda gets tore up,
It's
so.
a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Out there on the weekend.
So, it'll have a lane, a driveway to go back to the deck that we built, and then they would come back up and park in the parking spot out by the road. And then place 4x4s about every 6, drive them about every 6 feet apart so people can't drive into the grass area.
Yep. Sounds good. Any questions, discussion?
Yeah, I'm fuzzy on something. Are the slips just those poles, and then the boats go in them and tie up to it?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have anything, like a wrapper or something around them to protect the side of the boats? They depend on their bumpers, or?
They put bumpers, they'll utilize bumpers, but, it's right now they got PVC sleeves PVC pipe sleeves that go over the top of them.
Well, what would we do on these new poles that we're putting in? Would we be putting PVC on top of those?
Yeah,
too?
we probably, yeah.
Okay, so we'd have some additional cost for PVC?
Well, yeah, but,
It wasn't bad, I mean,
yeah,
I put some on.
it'd be very minimal.
And what about the shallowness and the hard pan up on the north end?
Well, this is my thinking that we buy enough pipe to do the other 2 locations, because nobody really knows. I remember Charlie telling me at one point he did not think around that, where those pipe are, that is not a shell bottom there.
Oh,
It is towards the inlet that goes back in there.
right, it definitely. is back
But
there.
he told me that he told me a long time ago, he didn't believe it was. Shannon just can't remember.
Yeah.
So my thinking is, don't buy for them, let's take a pipe over there and see if we can
Find
kind
out.
of find out before we invest in the pipe, and then if he can sink one, then we can go ahead and purchase for those.
Okay,
So you think we should maybe set like a do not exceed price so you can cover the PVC in this whole thing?
I give that to manager's discretion, I would. We're not talking about more than 3,000 or 4,000 more, I wouldn't think, are you?
No.
If you want to do that, though, we can.
And to be honest with you, when Shannon gave me this price, this was on a, twisting his arm, this was on an extreme high end, so.
So I'm assuming he would do a combo between the two, if he could do something from shore, something from the barge, he would
Yeah.
work it out. I mean, I'll put a motion out there, do we have any more discussion? Anybody have questions, Tom, Ron?
I think what we're talking here is also gonna be a plus, if and when we go after the new marina. This will beautify, set everything into standard, going around through there without all them damn pipes, if
Yeah.
the boat is, if you got a lot of wind, you've been through, if you get a lot of wind, you get boats working back and forth. the whole tie-up is moving the pipes. That's what happens. It's not just one boat moving it, it's a whole tie-up.
Well, because you're sharing a pole.
Yeah.
Two people are sharing the same pole, so.
Yeah,
they can-
I think we're on the right track.
I'm sure that whoever set these years ago that, you know, they thought that they were doing it right, but that size pipe is not big enough for what they're intended for. Some of them, and, you know, I'd like to make sure that they're equally spaced apart. I mean, there's some that are 7 feet, there's some that are 9 feet, I mean, they're just all over the place, and some are 7 feet high, some are 6 feet high, and some are 5 feet. I mean, you know, it just needs to be uniformed a little bit more if we want to do it and do it right.
But we probably also need to approve this sooner rather than later if he needs the ground to be frozen,
Yep.
because, you know, we're gonna run out of time if we wait 2 whole meetings to say go, you know, because March it's gonna be.
But it's Indiana.
It's true, it could be, but
So a motion, should one be made, should include probably a single vote.
Exactly.
Yep.
so I would
So let's get
say,
it moving.
I'll make a motion to approve the pole installation by McCullough and Ken's crew, not to exceed 20,000. And that'll cover pole pipe, PVC, window dressing, whatever else you wanna put on there, little hooks, anything.
20,000 would definitely do it. I feel very confident we'd do it no more than 17, because I think he's really high on that.
Well, I was just making sure we had
Sure,
room for PVC, and if you wanna put islands on
Oh,
there.
I
so-
understand, but
You don't have to spend all 20 if you don't want to, Ken.
oh, I won't. And I wouldn't, but,
Well, let's put it out there for 20, just to make sure we're covered, and
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Oh, and one vote.
Jim's voting for 2, he's
I'm
got
voting for
Paul's,
Paul.
so,
Sorry, and that was supposed to be on one vote.
yep, 1 vote.
If you want to revote, is everybody still okay with one vote?
No, it's not enough to worry about.
Okay.
thank you, we'll get her done.
Okay, it's all yours, Ken.
Boom.
It's gonna be a great addition.
It will, it'll look
It'll
nice,
look
for
It looks
sure.
really nice. With the new docks and the new poles. Snazzy.
All right, that takes us to the open forum portion of the meeting. If you have anything you'd like to say, talk about, ask questions about, please stand up, say your name, your lot number, and let it rip. Last meeting of this board's term, so.
That's scary for you to say, let it rip.
Over County 330 Patriots Landing. Just a couple of comments about the security of the burning area. The idea of a person having to get out and open the gate would also mean that individual would be on camera, not just a car and maybe a license plate. So that's a very, simple kind of way to add to that security. The one thing I would hope, and I'm definitely in favor of the security idea, that the time that is accessible wouldn't be too limited, because people do their projects at different times, plus sometimes it's too muddy to go back there and sometimes it isn't. So having it accessible at the convenience of the neighborhood would be an important issue.
Good point, thank you, Phil.
Plus, to piggyback on that, I just thought about something. Most cameras, you can get them with night vision very inexpensively.
Right.
So if somebody were to be hauling something out right now at dark, you could still get a real nice picture.
A lot of
that it
times,
looked
just knowing there's a camera is a
Oh, yeah.
deterrent enough, you know? I mean, who's gonna wanna take the chance, right? So, all of a sudden, there's a big rush at Dollar General for ski masks or whatever. If you're really that hell-bent, you're gonna find a way, but, I think it's a drastic improvement, in helping us fix the problem that we've got. Anybody else? It's a big crowd and that's it? One comment? There you go, Jeff.
There
You know, you can count them. Jeff Brooks, 123 Patriots Landing. On behalf of the Floyd Township Fire Department, Animal Fire Department is out with us Sunday, Bainbridge Fire Department, Operation Life, all the EMT crews. I want to thank Shannon McCullough for the donation of the house to begin with. He donated food, donated drinks, and that kind of thing. They come out here and help knock the rest of it down, so just want to thank him for that.
Thank you, Jeff. Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? If not, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion,
What's your motion?
motion to close it.
Motion to close it. Do I have a second?
Second
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Anybody have anything for executive? All right, go home, rest up. Next board meeting is the annual meeting, guys.
What time does that start again?
1:30.
1:30.
I forwarded you an operator
1:30 downstairs.
to look at.